My name is Arvin Talavera, and I will be talking about the inequality in quality education access. Social practices are constantly being shaped by diversity issues in our modern culture. Various movements throughout history have made great strides in bringing equality and moving our society away from benefiting only straight cisgender white males. There is a big issue going on with what bathrooms a transgender person is supposed to use. This challenges people's social norms, and thus the need for change in social practice is becoming apparent. Hopefully, this will resolve and people can relieve themselves in peace. A topic in our studies that has greatly influenced modern society is human biodiversity. We learned that genetically we don't have much variance compared to other animal species on the planet. There is also no proof that one race of human is greater than another. The myth of white Europeans being superior was perpetuated for centuries as a way to establish dominance over the places they conquered. These assumptions would trickle down through the generations, leading to things like segregation, slavery, and the Holocaust. Luckily, as time and scientific research have gone on, we have learned that no single race of people is superior to any other. Issues of diversity affect communications majors through the language they use. People who are blind or ignorant to diversity issues tend to use language a little differently than those that are aware of them. An example of this is how reports will use inappropriate language to describe people not of the social norm, making them sound bad at times, while people of the social norm are framed as innocent or as the victim. Modern society is affected by diversity issues in a huge way. We are currently trying to create a world where everyone can live in peace. Movements big and small have created over the last few decades in order to make the status quo equality for all people. This creates a constant struggle because there are still people out there that believe in the old stereotypes of what is and is not socially acceptable in society. There are many benefits to overcoming issues of diversity. Everyone will have equal ability to marry, in work opportunities, in education, and being fearless in the choice to live true to themselves. The biggest challenge to this is educating the masses. People are raised with certain ideas of how things should be, and some more prejudiced than others. This leads to those in power holding down those that aren't due to what they've been brought up on. Educating everyone and getting them to understand equality is the biggest hurdle, because we have to allow people the freedom of choice and opinion. The social issue I chose is inequality for people of color for grades K to 12. The origin of this issue is institutionalized racism, specifically white people having the economic advantage. The issue is mainly about people of color more likely sending their children to overcrowded public schools due to various circumstances, social, economic, etc. Institutionalized racism is what happens when social institutions give negative treatment to people based on their race. Basically, it's what happens when things like our government, education, and law are systematically set up to keep certain races beneficially ahead while holding down other races. Common examples of this in the media are when a crime happens. If a white person commits a crime, generally they're met with leniency and possibly are examined for poor mental health. Whereas a person of color that is examined for virtually the same exact crime is already written off as a criminal and gets punished pretty harshly, or at least to the normal standard, not getting any breaks purely due to the fact that they are not white. POC stands for people of color. This basically refers to anyone that is considered ethnically non-Caucasian. People who are impacted by this issue are families who have a harder time making money. This goes back to the white population having head start in economically establishing themselves, as well as running the school systems. In turn, those affected are more likely to be non-white. It's important to know that these people are usually oblivious to how deep institutionalized racism has trickled down to this problem. This affects education inequality greatly. White people tend to be more gainfully employed so they can afford to live in better areas and can afford to send their kids to better schools. People of color are less likely to make more money, thus have to put their children into overcrowded schools. Overcrowded schools can't properly focus on all of their students' successes. This then affects a child's chances of being gainfully employed in adulthood. This displays institutionalized racism being the root of the problem and showing that the issue of K-12 education inequality is a byproduct of it. This issue impacts the target population by keeping them mostly down with subpar education, leaving them unqualified for opportunities in adulthood. It's hard to predict the future of this, but I hope for the positive change in ending this problem. This can be addressed directly by taking action towards making it better. Here are some potential strategies that can help. Pay teachers better so they are more invested in teaching the youth. Build more schools or add more classrooms to existing schools in order to reduce classroom sizes and give kids proper attention and supervision. Another suggestion is making online K-12 education low cost or free to children that are able to use a computer. To implement my plan, I would have to form a campaign to raise awareness about this issue and educate people locally and online. If I was in a position of governmental power, I would bring up the proposed strategies from earlier to the correct avenues in an effort to get them started. The benefits of this plan would be better K-12 education for people of color in order to give them a better chance to contribute and succeed in modern society when they enter adulthood.